Ruben597 here with a CV gameplay that I've got with another channel contributor, Sneaky Snake. He asked me to put this one up there because he thought it was a very good replay and demonstration of what a CV can do. Now, I have been in this carrier for about a month. I don't play it every day, don't play it very much, just usually get the daily win and then move on to other ships. Want to stay in the CV to really learn his infantries a lot better, and primarily because when you get the night terrors, the best thing for you to do is to kill DDs. So that's what I tried to do here, is send out my fighters to scout out where their DDs are. And usually on this map, they all come into the islands here. Now, there is an enemy Bogue, and I'm not sure if he's a strike loadout or fire loadout, but I'm sending my planes to do my best to find the one and only DD. I have my dive bombers set up in the area, and my torp plane set up in the area. And I go for the auto drop, but then I realize they're both not close enough together to do an effective cross pattern, so I'm trying to stack up the planes a little bit closer before I do the drop on the DD. The other thing I do is I do set my carrier on a pattern. You know, I just do a little loop on it in the top corner. That way, on this map, if our team gets control of the upper side there, I can just run my CV across there. Now, I get one torp onto him, no bomb hits, everything's coming back, and keeping my fighters over to keep him spotted. The other thing I like to do is keep my CV moving, because a stationary CV is a dead CV. I'm gonna keep the fighters over the DD as long as possible to keep them spotted so we can't sneak up and ambush anybody. And at this point I start wondering, hey, where the Bogue's planes at? I haven't seen them. And I asked Sneaky, I said, hey, have you seen the Bogue planes? Cause I haven't, you know, it's Sky FK. And then I started thinking, I wonder if this guy's a strike package instead of fighter loadout. Because I noticed his plane rating was 23, which is about the same for his fighters and strikes. And this is when somebody spots the dive bomber. So I send my aircraft after the dive bombers, or the torp bombers, not the dive bombers, because at this low of a tier, the torps are more deadly than the dive bombers, especially for an American CV. And at this point I get it off the autopilot and start taking manual control and start turning in towards the torp planes to eat as less torps as possible. So as you can see, I'm burning. I'm going to let it burn until I get hit by the torps, then I'm going to put it out and let that play out. Now, luckily I got off some planes before he put the fires on me, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, you want a CV snipe, now I'm coming after you, because you're going to be coming after me. Now it's just a matter of who can kill who first. Now the thing about at these tiers, or even at the higher tiers, if it's just one CV, it's really not worth the CV snipe, because you're just not going to pull off the damage to kill him in one swoop. If there was another carrier with him, they easily could have taken me out, but it's just one carrier versus one carrier. You really shouldn't go after the other carrier. It's a waste of time. As you can see, I usually stack up my torp planes, so when I bring them in, they're all coming at the same time. The other thing that I've been doing is zooming in so I can get as close as possible for my drops, because what you want to do is have the yellow, when they do the drop here in the yellow, you want the nose to just be coming in because you will get the most torps onto target. This guy's turning. I'm going to get 2 or 3. I don't recall. But more importantly is I got what I really needed was the flooding. Now I see that he's flooding. I've got my dive bombers right in the area, and I'm like, you know, I just need to wait a couple seconds. Let this guy pull out his damage control. Once I see his damage controls out, I'm going to wait and then bring these guys in and hope I can get a fire and take his flight deck out. Did a manual drop there, get the fire, get the bomb hits. Now at this point, I'm typing in chat with my extraordinary slow typing skills that I set fire and his flight deck is out. Now, in the time it took me to type, he got his damage control back, which makes me believe that he's might have been running a premium damage control party. But we have 3 ships in the area. They are actively going at him. And I do feel if you are a carrier and if you do this, giving this information to your team is very good because it tells the DD, hey, I set him on fire. If he's not burning now, his damage control is out. So either you can set him on fire and take out his flight deck, or if you hit him with torps, he's just going to die at this point. But I let them know that his damage control is out. Now, at this point, I realized I'm just driving in circles up top. I'm also trying to stack up my planes for a second attack, and then I kind of realized this guy's dead. It's just a matter of time. You know, there's a DD after him. There's 2 cruisers in the area. He's not going to live. But I wanted to keep my eye on him for as long as possible. Bring my fighters in to try to protect the DD. Wanted to take out the dive bombers because those really are going to be a little bit of harassment for him. Like I said, at this point I realized, oh, there's a BB here. He's really got nowhere to turn. The Stevie's just going to die. Let me stack these guys up and drop on this battleship. Now here I mess up a little bit. I didn't exactly drop them at the right time, but as you can see, I'm trying to correct throughout the entire thing. Get the drop. This guy's gonna eat them all. He's dead. There's no way he can survive this. Boom, there goes the battleship. Now I'm also checking out the area. Okay, the CV's dead. What can I go after now? I've got the dive bombers. I'm gonna set them after this battleship. He has the very bad AA, and those are the targets I like to take out first, because I'm hoping that throughout the course of the game, these ships with the good AA have lost enough AA to where they're not going to be a huge threat to my planes. So at this point, I'm setting a new waypoint for my ship to go somewhere, bringing in the dive bombers, looking down here, the fighters that don't even care about them. My fighters are just completely useless to me. So, lining up to do a drop on this battleship, and I kind of don't care about my dive bombers. My big damage dealers are my torp planes, at least in the Japanese carriers. That's your big damage dealers, is your torp planes. But I'm going to do a manual drop with my dive bombers here, try to get some fire, so when I bring in the torp planes, if I don't kill them with the torp planes, hopefully I get some sort of flooding and he'll just flood out. Now the other thing is I'm trying to move my carrier up so I have a shorter turnaround time for my planes, so I can get these guys up and back into the fight even sooner. As you can well see, we have very good map control, pushing these guys in the corner. I'm not in real any danger. Possibly they could take the guys out in the south and come into these islands, but with me harassing them, it's just not going to happen. Now, as you can see, I dropped these here, and I didn't correct when I should have. This guy's going to eat less torps than I would have liked, but once again, I get the flood on him, and he's going to die. So at this point, I'm moving up even closer, and I'm looking at targets, and my dive bombers, I'm sending after him. Usually what I do for my dive bombers is I just set them on a auto drop, just because I'm more worried about stacking up my tour planes, and if I forget about him, hey, at least he's going to drop on something, and hopefully RNG will be in my favor. Now, I am moving up my ship to the island that is right behind their cap, because that's where I wanted to tuck it in to get the quickest turnaround and keep my ship as safe as I can. Of course, I didn't realize that that was actually technically in the cap circle, but hey, whatever, I want it to be close to the action. And of course, I forgot to try to do a manual drop, and these guys just drop, and RNG was with me, gives me a fire. Not sure if this guy was caught on fire by somebody else, and this is burning him, but it's still good, because if his damage control is there, it will force it out. I'm stacking up my tour planes, going to bring them in to finish the job on him. Now this guy starts turning, and at that point I start realizing, okay, I want to see which way this guy's going to start turning before I drop these and bring them in. And this is the prime example of what you want. This guy cannot avoid all of these. He's going to eat all of them, and it really just didn't matter about how many of them hit him. He was dead. So at this point, sending the dive bombers after this battleship, and I checked to see what I was about to hit. Okay, I'm going to get tucked in good. And I do believe I start noticing, oh my god, I'm capping. Like, okay. And I tell Sneaky, I say, hey man, you're never going to believe where I'm at. Check this out. He's like, what? Are you the one camping? I'm like, yeah. I've gotten all the way up here. And I even say something in the chat. And in the process of that, my dive bombers, boom, more damage. Trying to just stack up the tour planes as soon as I can. Now at this point I'm spotted by that low hull St. Louis, but I'm not worried about it because I have Sneaky in their 2 BBs actively shooting at him, and he's extremely low health, and you know, he's just gonna die, so I'm not worried about it. Now this Wyoming's on extremely high health, and like I said, just at this point I'm just waiting to cycle out the planes. And the other thing I recommend is, if you are in these CVs, there is absolutely no need for you to get out of the carrier until you feel very comfortable doing manual drops and keeping your carrier up with the fleet whilst maintaining some degree of safety. So, bringing my planes after the Wyoming, noticed that he was turning, and I completely messed up this drop. I waited too long to do the manual, bring them back, constantly adjusting. Gives this guy plenty of time to start doing a lot more maneuvering to avoid most of these torps. But once again, somebody else had set him on fire. I get high caliber Confederate with those, and I get flooding, and it's just a matter of time before another BB meets its demise to my tour planes. I do believe I say something in all chat too about I'm the one that started capping and capping. Pretty sure this game's just about to wrap up. not going to be able to get any more planes up to deal with the last ship, which was this cruiser. And you know, with the battleship shooting at him, he wasn't going to last long. But I ended up with a couple other ships, and we capped them out for the victory. Get 132,000 damage done, 4 ships sank, devastating strike, high caliber Confederate, number 1 on the leaderboard with 17,000 or 1,700 damage. You can see pretty much killed all the battleships, did significant damage to the DD, made some good money. Hit the like button and subscribe, and thank you for watching.